So a question that's been coming up over and over again is, I just got my Part 107, now what do I do? So in this video, I want to talk about the mistakes that I made when I first got my Part 107 and when I was developing my business. And I want to talk about what I did incorrectly to hopefully help you out make money with your drone. Let's get started. So I've had a viewer recently email me and said that they just got their 107, they have an Air 2S, they have a 360 camera, and they want to start using it to make money. So like, what's the best way to go about this? Do they need to form an LLC? Do they need to do some advertising? And I would say to anybody that is pondering this same thought, something that I see that everybody does straight out of the gate, they get their 107, guess what they do? They jump over to Fiverr, have a logo made, some shitty logo, without any thought. It's got a drone in there, it's good enough. They just make some shitty Fiverr logo. They go make a Facebook page, invite all their friends and family to like this Facebook page. They create a company name, and they may even go out to their database in their state to create an LLC for that company, and they don't even have any idea what they're going to offer people as a service to make revenue. So before you jump to Fiverr, before you create a Facebook page and invite all your friends and family, I know it's exciting to do, chill out. The first thing you should be doing is research. You have to research your market. You have to understand what your market is lacking, and you have to understand from a local standpoint what others are doing in your market that is making them money with a drone. And if you find a weakness or something that you could do better, you need to pounce on that. In my instance, I looked at my market and I found that the photographers around here at the time were underutilizing aerials. They were not doing drone work. I had one photographer that even put on his website that he didn't believe in drones because it showcased a view that wouldn't be seen any other way unless you had a drone, which that just blew my mind. So that was enough motivation for me to pursue the real estate world. However, with that said, I didn't really have a wide angle lens at the time, and I didn't really have the equipment to do real estate photography. So I had to go out and buy a camera and buy a lens that could do real estate photography. I think all in, I spent maybe $800 on lens and camera, and that was more than enough for me to be able to start making money with a camera and my drone. But as you can see, it was more than just my drone. And in the instance of the email that I got from this gentleman, you would be in the same predicament. You have a 360 camera, you have a drone. If you are interested in the real estate aspect of things, you would need a camera to make money, because unfortunately something I learned early on was just having a drone wasn't enough. I needed to become a one-stop shop for my clients to actually use me, or make it more attractive for more people to use me. Once I started becoming a one-stop shop for people, I started gaining a lot of traction here locally, and people started recommending me and referring me with each and every shoot. So it was really fantastic. Now, in the instance of you, if you didn't want to do that, you don't want to pursue, the photography side of things, or you don't want to pursue the real estate side of things, there is always architecture. There is inspections that you can do with the drone, and with an Air 2S, it can do quite a bit. With that 20 megapixel sensor, you can do architecture photos for buildings. You can do time lapses on buildings for clients. That's something that I've seen a lot of, and it's actually taking over Instagram, is people doing these construction progression time lapses. I don't know what they charge for them. I've never been a part of that, but I'm seeing a lot of that, and they look really cool. And there's a lot of construction companies out there that would probably like to have something like that done. Now, is that something sustainable that you would be able to make a lot of money off of? Probably not, but it does get your foot in the door and allows you to start creating a portfolio. Now, if that's not interesting for you, there's always the mapping avenue. You can always go after mapping. Is an Air 2S good enough to do mapping? Absolutely. However, it is a little bit more complicated than just pressing a button, letting it go on a waypoint mission. There's more to mapping. You also have the software side, which is going to cost you a little bit of money as well. There is the fact of accuracy, and depending on your client, they may require something like RTK. So those are all things that you need to figure out beforehand. But again, that's where having that research and understanding your market locally is going to benefit you. Then of course, if none of those sound interesting, there's always the inspection side of things, whether you do cell phone tower inspections, power line inspections, or you reach out to local roofing companies and offer them your services as a quick way to inspect a roof or capture photos for them so they don't have to hire a drone operator on staff and they can just use you a la carte. So those are a couple of different options that you can go after. Now again, all of this is going to really depend and dictate on the market that you are in. Like I said, here for me, real estate, it was a no-brainer. Again, I made the mistake. I created a business name and I put the business name as Apex Aerial UAS. And I put UAS at the end and I was like, whoa, why did I do that? Because for the longest time, for like 3 months time, I wasn't getting any attraction. I wasn't getting any clicks, nothing. And what I realized is that UAS, a lot of people don't really understand that UAS pertains to drones. It's an unmanned aerial system. It's just the average Joe Blow doesn't understand that. As soon as I changed it over to Apex Imaging Media, I started gaining a little bit more traction. That little blip at the end there, media, piqued people's interest to start clicking on my Facebook page, to start clicking on the website and figuring out what I was about. Now, with that being said, one of the things you need to do is you need to build yourself a reel or a portfolio. If you're going to pursue the mapping avenue, you need to have some form of portfolio. You need to have finished work done. Now this finished work can just be sort of, we'll call it placebos or just, fake work that you just do because you're just trying to gain experience and knowledge. Same thing with real estate. You can photograph and film just random houses to sort of get a portfolio together before you actually start doing real work for clients. And this was something that I had to do. I was photographing and filming family homes, just practicing trying to get a portfolio together. And then once I started actually photographing and filming real client houses, I started replacing my portfolio of fake homes with real homes. And now I have an abundance of real homes in my portfolio that I can easily choose and upload to my gallery so people can see. So it takes a little bit of time. Now I will tell you that from the point I founded my business to now, the first 3 years I was part-time. It was super sporadic. I needed a full-time job to be able to support this on the side. The first couple of years, I only made like maybe $20,000 for the year, which wasn't terrible. But what it allowed me to do was get a little bit of capital to expand on my equipment. Now fast forward to 2022, I have all the equipment I possibly need to do a lot of higher end productions, but I didn't start out that way. Equipment and skill is like a ladder. You have to take baby steps up that ladder and sort of build on it as you go. You cannot go running. So just know that if you decide to jump into this industry and start doing drone work, it's baby steps. It doesn't happen all at once. Nobody's just gonna use you because you have a license. Now, one other option you have is if you jump into this industry, you got your license, you don't have to work for yourself. I think one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is they want to be their own boss. I can tell you, after having done this for 2 years now, being your own boss is not all it's cracked up to be. It is not fun. I don't even want to tell you how stressful it is come tax time to deal with all these things on your own. The fact that for the past 2 weeks, I've sat around scratching my head, wondering why it's been so slow, stressing out at the fact that I have a target number that I need to hit each month. And if I don't hit that number, I may not be able to pay my bills this month. So those are all things that go through my mind and weigh on me heavily each and every month. And if you work for somebody else, a lot of that stress just goes away. So I would highly recommend that if you don't have success out on your own, look to see if there are others that are hiring drone operators, whether it be for the power company, inspections, roofing companies. See if there are other photographers hiring 107 certified pilots to fly for them, because you may find somebody that is hiring that can bring you under their wing, one, give you experience, and then now two, you're building a portfolio So that way you have something to show later on when you decide to go out on your own. If you decide to go out on your own, you may find that, hey, working for this other company or other person is more than adequate. I've been there, trust me, and it's perfectly fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. Having your 107 working for somebody else is fine. As long as you're using your 107 and you're doing what you intended to do with it, I think that's perfectly fine. Now, one other thing I want to add to this is all these things are fantastic and great, but if you have no experience in doing them, you need knowledge. So how do you gain that knowledge? How do you gain more information about using your drone to create revenue? Well, the easiest thing to do is to check out some of the courses we have over at Pilot Institute. This is a shameless plug, but it's something that's very relevant to this. You have to have knowledge to be able to do the work that you want to do to make money. You want to learn about mapping? Well, we have a mapping course. It's probably the most complete, robust mapping course on the market today. Highly recommend it. I'm going through it right now to understand more about it so I can take on certain tasks here locally so I can start adding on to my revenue when real estate is slow. You want to learn about real estate? Well, we have a full-blown real estate course that's probably the most affordable and complete course on the market today. It's a two-part course. It's video and photos, and it was filmed by both Billy Kyle and myself, and that's gonna get you in the door, show you soup to nuts what we do on the day-to-day. It's also gonna give away some of the secrets that we use to be able to make money and edit multiple homes in a hurry. So if you're interested in that, highly recommend checking out that course. And of course, if you're not 107 and you're listening to this and you're like, shit, this sounds really complicated, obviously the first step you need to take in order to better yourself in this industry is get your 107, click the link down below and take the course. Now, of course, there's also some in-person training that you can do because I know a lot of people, I know myself, I'm ADHD like a mother, and I don't do well reading things. I do well when it's actually like somebody is showing me something. If somebody shows me something, I can learn it and I can repeat that step over and over again. But if I have to sit there, find that information out on my own and sit there and read directions, probably not gonna do very well with that. And there's a lot of people that are more visual learners than they are able to sit there and read. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that that's one of the best things about YouTube. It shows us how we can learn something by physically seeing it. So if you can, try to make it out to some in-person training classes that are being offered. I know there's going to be one in Texas, in Houston, Texas, I think on the 19th of February. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll leave a link down below for it, but it's in-person training and it's gonna cover real estate, it's gonna cover mapping, it's gonna cover thermal inspections, it's going to cover cinematography, so lots of different perspectives, including even architecture photography as well. So really a lot of information is going to be giving out there. But again, even with these courses, you still will need to put it into practice, but that's the what's next. I would always recommend knowledge. Educate yourself. Knowledge and research are the easiest way to make sure that you are successful if you decide to go out on your own. All right, this was a lot of information, bit of a ramble. How many minutes was that? That was 13 minutes of rambling. Hopefully you took away something from this. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you did, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're doing making money now with your drone. And I will see you in the next video. Stay original.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so.